my mic. Oh. Hey, what's good, YouTube? Tevo here. Welcome back to another episode. We're going to be looking at something different today. We're going to be looking at therapists of Reddit. What are some intriguing psychological facts that let me rewind that back. Alright. Therapists of Reddit. What are some intriguing psychological facts about humans do you know about? I'm looking at this because I'm into psychology. I'm into psychology. I'm into astrology. I was supposed to take up psychology in college, but I ended up taking web design and still dropped out a year later. And now 10 years later, I learned it and about to get a job in it because you don't need a degree. So I saved a whole lot of money by just dropping out. But anyways, long story short, we're gonna get into this video. We gonna see what some therapists had to say about some people. It's like, I know it's a lot of fucked up things that happens in these type of therapy sessions and all that stuff. You're not supposed to tell nobody, but hey, it is what it is. But we gonna get to the video. Like the video, please get this video up to at least 50 likes. Comment whatever you want you want me to react to, and by the end of the video, tell me what you think about the video too. And if you new, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, cause we grown. This channel went from goddamn, I don't know, like 10 to 16 subscribers, and I'm almost at 100 subscribers, and we still going to do that 100 subscribers. So once we hit 100 subscribers, I'm a post up a video, and it's gonna be like some type of word. You're gonna have to, I'm gonna let you know the word at probably like the beginning or the end of the video. Probably 9 times out of 10 is gonna be at the end of the video. And after you hear the word, I want y'all to comment down below the word that I'm gonna say at the end of the video, so y'all can get that $100. But we gonna get into the video. We growing, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all fuck with y'all. Hey, we here for the longevity. If you fuck with me, I'll fuck with you. So let's get into the video.
Therapists of Reddit. What are some intriguing psychological facts about humans? Story 1. Although there is no way to bring back the memories, playing music to dementia sufferers can bring back the feelings. The study was prompted when a dementia sufferer started crying happy tears to a song.
Oh.
He told the care staff that he had no idea why, but he felt really happy.
Music would do that. Music would do that. I am a musical head, man. That's all I do. Is listen to music even if I gotta do something. Even when I be, of course, when you're at the gym, you're gonna have music. But even when I be at work, I need to have music in my ears to function. I cannot function without music, especially the music that just make me motivated. It just make me want to do stuff. I gotta have that. I gotta have music in my ears all the time. I don't know. I guess you could call it a coping mechanism. But for me, it's just, I don't know. It's just I need music. Music just bring the best out of me, you know? So I guess that's in every aspect of life. I don't know, I'm just saying.
His wife later identified the song as the one she walked down the aisle to on her wedding day.
Wow.
Story 2. Psychiatric nurse here. Redirection is a hell of a skill. For example, we had a patient screaming at us and peacocking, just ready to fight someone. He had glasses on his head, and I mentioned I liked them. He said, I need them to read books. I asked him about the books he read, and we had a whole discussion about that, and he completely forgot what he was angry about. Learning about it in school, I was super skeptical, but seeing it work and using it often is incredible. Sometimes a small distraction from our feelings is all we need.
Yeah.
Story 3. Motivational interviewing exists for a reason. I constantly run across comments on Reddit that say things like, if your therapist isn't telling you to get out of this relationship now, then you need a new therapist. But humans have a tendency to dig their heels in when told to do something they feel ambivalent about. There are ways to help people realize what's going to be best for them that don't involve giving straight advice. In fact, I'd say giving straight advice can be one of the least effective methods
Yeah,
for
you
a lot
gotta
of people issues. And these
you
people
gotta go around the situation for somebody to get it. If you just be straightforward and like, I'm listening to you, but you gotta like try to some way finagle your way through, so this person could be like, you know what, this person is, it could be right. Maybe I should listen to him. Instead of just being straightforward. Like me, I'm a straightforward person. Cause I'm gonna just tell you straight up, like, nigga, like the fuck, this woman is not doing nothing productive for you and your. She's not even adding to your life. She's really subtracting things from your life. And like, no, this is my girl. I love her to death. And like, you gonna see one day, and then one day they see. They're like, man, bro, you was right, man. I shouldn't. Hey, you can't tell nobody. Sometimes you're gonna have to let people learn from their mistakes. Yeah, some people gotta go through their own lessons in life for them to really understand it and get a grasp of it.
people in our office probably have a dozen friends already giving them that advice, and they're still not acting on it.
Oh, yeah, they're
fucking
fucking
psychologist. Story 4. Something that makes me wonder how we survived as a species and then answers my question at the same time. People will adhere to what they believe to be true over what they know to be true. Politics, religion, anxiety, depression, and staying with an abuser are all examples. Even when they are able to state what they know, their beliefs interfere, and that cognitive dissonance will resolve closer to their belief. As a therapist, it's my job to help them know what they know and slowly alter their beliefs to be more consistent with what they know. Too quick of a change strengthens the belief system. It amazes me every time a patient has an epiphany and then almost immediately reverts. Story 5. All behavior has a purpose. An extension of this, there is no such thing as people being lazy. If people aren't doing something others think they should, it's for a reason, even if said person doesn't know that reason either. It might be an avoidance tactic, a learned behavior, or even their body-mind feeling overwhelmed and requiring rest before they take on different tasks. Following that, if people are trying to rest and get nagged nonstop, they never actually get to rest and hence never get to build up the energy to tackle the things on their to-do list.
Exactly.
Story 6. I am a parent-child psychotherapist. I work with children under 6 and their caregivers who have experienced trauma. In a nutshell, the healing comes from the caregiver talking to the child about what happened. We call it speaking the unspeakable. Basically, young children know something bad is going on. Domestic violence, abuse, neglect, loss, and they need a grown-up to help them play and talk about it. Otherwise, they make up their own stories about what is going on, and it is often totally incorrect and self-blaming. Infants, toddlers, and preschoolers have the capacity to be talked to about scary things. They can handle it if the adult can find a way to regulate through the retelling and tolerate the subsequent emotions. I've explained addiction, severe neglect, loss, and emotional abuse to 3- and 4-year-olds. They are amazing and can handle it. Story 7. People who are facing the effects of trauma can have physical symptoms that result in long-term medical issues. High blood pressure, heart-related issues, cancer, etc.
No, not cancer.
Seeking treatment for trauma can help this. Trauma victims can exhibit the same behaviors as those who are trying to be deceitful. X. Having difficulty remembering what happened, having difficulty tracking the chronological order of things, seeming to change a story around, behaving differently than how we expect a person should react with flat affect, etc. This leads many police who are trained to spot liars to disbelieve crime victims and further victims not wanting to come forward. Laughing is a common and natural reaction for many when in the midst of a traumatic incident. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with the person or they're enjoying it. Their mind is trying to cope and release energy pent up from adrenaline. I work with crime victims, domestic violence victims, and adults who've experienced trauma. Story 8. Our subconscious doesn't know the difference between our heart racing out of attraction versus fear, so basically if you're going on a first date with someone you really like, then ride some roller coasters with them and they will find you more attractive. Not gonna lie, an amusement park date sounds really awesome. The adrenaline calms your nerves, so it's easier to talk. You're both.
If it's our first date, I'm not taking you to the. I'm not taking you there. That's something that if we got something established already, yeah, we go to the go to the amusement park. But other than that, like, fuck, if I just met you, I'm not taking you to the amusement park. The fuck?
Having fun, and you are forced to talk a lot when you're standing in line. Story 9. There is a fairly common misconception that people in severe depressive states are the most likely to end it all. The data shows that self-deletion is most common in people coming out of a major depression who...
Yeah. Depression will do that. It could be severe, or it could be like non-severe, like to the point that you can't take it. It's like a record in your brain. It's just skipping, repeating itself over and over and over and over. You try to stop this shit. You try to stop this shit. You try to, like, distract your brain from repeating the cycle over and over and over again. You try to do other stuff, but sometimes it's like depression, it could go away, but it won't go away for a long time. It's like you got to change your behaviors to cope with the depression, because if you let depression win, I'm telling you, you're gonna do something that you're gonna regret, that you can never take back. And once you do it, that is it. Trust and believe. Like, I had them type of thoughts before. I'm too pussy to kill myself. And plus, I'm be thinking in my head like, alright, if I do this now, what else I'm going to be missing out on? Like, I might be going through something right now, but what about my future? Just because I want to end it all right now because I'm going through something right now, what is going to be happening in the future? I must be going through this for a reason, so I could be on the whole time. Bad times never last. I'm gonna say this. If you mad, if you sad, if you depressed, if you not at your highest, if you feeling at your lowest, and you just keep on having these thoughts in your brain, these negative thoughts, I'm just end it off right here. Like, if you have all these negative thoughts, go to sleep. Take a nap. Just end your day. Just don't end your life. Just end your day. Go to sleep. Take a nap. I swear to God, you feel better. I swear to God, you feel better in the morning. I trust and believe. Every time when I had like these non-stop thoughts that just get overwhelming, I just say, like, I can't take it no more, and I just lay down in the bed and I just close my eyes until I finally, like, go to sleep. And the next thing you know, it's the next day, and I feel so much better about myself. I'm like, you can't let the moments beat you. You as a person are stronger than your body. You stronger than your heart. You stronger than your brain. You can fight it. Don't let depression beat you. Whoever going through depression right now, I'm talking to you like I'm looking you dead in your eyes. Don't let that shit beat you. Get up off your ass and beat the fuck out of life. I'm telling you, whatever you want to do in life, you do that shit. Fuck depression. Whoever put you in that situation, fuck them. You go upgrade on their ass, man. For real. I ain't gonna steer you wrong. I'm gonna steer you in the right direction.
Who are in a manic state. Often this time period is one where the depressed individual appears to be getting better. I want more people to know this so they can catch the red flags many people miss when a friend or family member ends themselves. It's the same with some antidepressants for some people.
That shit don't be working.
Rather than the person finding motivation through the drug to go do things to rebuild their lives, it can give the person motivation to commit self-destruction.
Yeah.
Story 10. Obligatory.
What?
I'm not a therapist, but I used to work in a maximum security prison doing intake interviews. I heard a lot of confessions and gave a lot of unofficial advice. One of the biggest things I learned is that if you treat someone with an ounce of respect, like a human being, like starting an interview with "Good afternoon, sir, ma'am, please have a seat," even the most combative inmates lose all fight, and usually I can get the interview done in peace. Yeah, there were special cases where no matter how civil I was, the inmate was not about cooperating, but for the most part it worked. I tried to treat every inmate like a human being. Yeah, they messed up, but they are still human. A smile and a polite greeting got me much further than a harsh command. Story 11. Most maladaptive things that people get stuck in likely save their lives at some point. Most humans don't do things to hurt themselves intentionally. Examples: self-harm may keep someone from attempting self-harm to reduce pain or shift emotional pain to physical pain, which may be more manageable. Someone with an eating disorder likely developed it to cope with intensive trauma or feelings of a loss of control in their life. Someone's anxiety feels like it can them safe from being hurt. Seeing people through this lens helps me never get frustrated with people because they are doing what they have to do to survive. Either consciously or unconsciously, it makes sense. Story 12. I learned that depressed people tend to have a more accurate perception of themselves than non-depressed people. Makes sense since people mostly focus on their positive attributes and ignore or don't want to confront
Yeah,
them.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying earlier. Like that's like when you depressed, all you think about is just the negative the negative shit about yourself all day long. It never stops. You can say to yourself that you are a good person. You are a good person, but it's like them traits. It's like it overwhelms you. It's just like I'm not shit. I'm never gonna accomplish nothing in life. Every time I do something that to accomplish something, it never goes in my favor, and it seems like I'm just a failure at everything. I'm telling you, them thoughts is like crazy. I always thought that depression was for like weak people when I was a kid. I was like, what the fuck is depression? Like, you depressed? The fuck, nigga, be happy. But I ain't think nothing of depression until I turned 27. And that's when I started feeling, I'm like, I never felt like this my whole life. I always been a positive person. Like, to me, how my life is, good things always come my way without me even trying. That was like that until I reached 26, 27. When, like, I call it the Forrest Gump effect. Don't you look? If you look at Forrest Gump, even though he was, I ain't gonna say mentally ill, mentally challenged man, but every time that Forrest Gump go through things in life, he always get blessed by the end of the day. He always go through the worst shit, and then he always overcome it. Just by being him. He don't even try. And that's how I be feeling. Like, I felt like Forrest Gump. Any situation that if I get shot at, I get beat up, I get whatever, I get dumped by a better opportunity, a better situation. Always come after the fact. Now I'm getting that now since I don't know. I'm almost done with the depression shit. I'm tired of being fucking depressed, and I could feel it. I could feel that coming back a little bit, but it's not all the way there yet. I'm trying to beat depression. I'm still depressed my own goddamn self. Just halfway. It don't hit the same like back in the day. Maybe because time heals all wounds, and I'm glad that time is actually, I can actually feel time healing the wounds. I just gotta be careful who I give my heart out to.
Negative traits, whereas a depressed person's negative outlook is closer to being realistic. That said, having a positively biased view of yourself, though not too extreme, can be highly advantageous, whilst being depressed obviously has great disadvantages. Also, the mere exposure effect is a cool phenomenon. Story 13. Not a therapist, but an extensive background in psychology. Depression and anxiety are actually functional facets of the human experience. It's okay, normal, healthy for a person to feel depressed after a life-altering event or significant loss. It's not normal when it continues for an extended period of time or without provocation to the extent that you can no longer function. We aren't meant to be happy and carefree all of the time. Story 14. Sitting at an unstable table or chair makes you feel like your conversations and relationships with the person you are talking to are rocky, unpredictable, and unstable as well. On the flip side, holding a warm drink makes you feel warmth and friendliness with the people you are talking to. Translation: If you need to have a serious talk with someone, give them a warm drink and make sure their chair is level. Story 15. There's a theory in therapy that I tell a lot of my clients who get frustrated when change is slow. They say it takes half a problem's half-life to solve a problem. If you've experienced a problem for 5 years, say an abusive relationship or PTSD symptoms, give yourself 2.5 years to heal from that issue. It takes time. The longer something is ingrained, the longer it will take to heal. Story 16. Body language is an important contributing factor in how you feel. The term power stance exists for a reason. If you are nervous about an interview or other big event, you can make yourself feel better and more confident by purposefully changing your posture. These include hands on hips, a wider stance, sprawling while sitting to take up more space, and literally raising your hands outstretched over your head. Basically, confident people take up more space with their bodies, while scared, anxious, lower status people hunch up and make themselves small in space. You can literally make yourself feel more confident just by forcing your body into a more confident body position. Story 17. If someone starts escalating, yelling, cursing, or screaming, first give them space and then talk to them calmly. Recognize that they are having an emotional response and then validate what they are feeling, letting them know it's okay to be angry, furious, overwhelmed, frustrated, etc. By giving them space, it allows the person to let out some of the negative energy that has overwhelmed them, and, let's be real here, it also protects you from getting hurt. Talking calmly actually helps bring the person back down to a calm state because humans tend to mirror one another. If a person is yelling and you start yelling, it always escalates the person more. Recognizing the person is having an emotional response helps you keep a clear head and not get emotional yourself. Validating their feelings and letting them know it's okay to feel the way they are feeling, as someone said before in this thread, helps the person to feel safe and less vulnerable. Once a person starts to feel safe again, you may be able to help them get to the core of their issue or concern. Story 18. People can be extremely really good at rationalizing away things they don't like or don't want to confront. Like really good. As long as it prevents you from really confronting your trauma or issues, you will put up with genuinely terrible situations. Even when you're really getting the short end of the stick, you will convince yourself that you're happy and that whatever you're facing is just normal. Not a big thing, really. No, it's all right. This is why we often need a reality check from friends, family, therapists, etc., and also why we often don't listen to them when they are genuinely concerned. Story 19. Have you heard of mirroring? Most think it's just from attraction, but it really stems from anxiety and sometimes admiration. Also, people while standing will point their feet in the direction they want to go and cross their legs the same while sitting. I'm also not a therapist and made everything up out of boredom. Story 20. What? People, as we know, are very social creatures. They typically interact with each other on a day-to-day basis and never give any of their behaviors a second thought. That said, whether you notice this or not, you may have very likely changed the way you behave towards people to become more likable in their eyes. These changes could be small, like speech patterns and movements, or even huge, like the way you treat other people around you and your biases. One moment, you could be a normal person that likes Fallout 4, but the next you could be smack-talking about it and claiming you hate it all because the group you're hanging around says that they dislike it.
That's some fake shit.
If you ever get the chance to actually stop and watch behaviors like this unfold in front of you, I assure you, you'll have a good time. Story 21. Obligatory not to be an expert in this field, an obligatory intersection with philosophy. When I was in high school, one of my teachers asked us if we'd be willing to fill out a confidential survey to help him gather data for his thesis. Everyone was willing to participate. The teacher, however, refused to tell us what the survey was about, as that could skew the results. When I filled out the survey, it was a jumble of random multiple-choice questions that often repeated themselves. This was to ensure none of us could guess the thesis topic. Once all the surveys were scored, he revealed the thesis. He wished to demonstrate that teenagers who believe in free will are less likely to engage in risky behavior, i.e., sex and drugs, than determinists. Our survey proved the opposite is true. Story 22. As clinical pharmacist, one of our major roles is taking medication chart patient history. Unfortunately, most would not talk to us or would even acknowledge our roles. So I decided one day to talk to our psychiatrist about this, and what she said was essential, that the patient did not speak with you because the patient sees you as not an equal and they see you as inferior to them. Thus, you have to find a way to get to their level. Luckily, this patient of mine was from Wisconsin, and I consider myself a sports fanatic. We talked from how Giannis is going to destroy my Raptors, to how Rodgers is better than Brady, to how crappy Trubisky is as a QB, and just how awful the Bears are. Story 23, I'm sorry that you experienced so much at such a young age. It would have been incredibly difficult for anyone to go through everything you mentioned, let alone a small child who didn't have the capacity to understand it. I wonder what your story is now of those experiences as a child. Is it the same childhood version? It's so great you are in therapy. Your therapist can help you create a new narrative of your past and help you explore all the feelings. In terms of red flags and joining abusive people, it is very common to recreate the traumatic experience in an attempt to change the outcome, but also, how would you know who is safe and who isn't when your past relationships were riddled with confusing dynamics, i.e., love and violence? I would connect with your local domestic violence agency and soak up everything you can about it. They often offer groups and resources. Become an expert and try out new methods of healing, and I mean try total mind-body healing. There is so much out there. Connect with others who are healing too. There is breathwork, meditation, movement, art, and a million therapies. Take the time to heal, but don't do it alone. It's a journey, but you can do it. Focus on you, and your relationships will follow suit. You got this. Story 24. The fact that we push hard against those closest to us. When a human is depressed, angry, or sad, they attack their closest loved one. From what I have gathered, studied, and questioned, it is because we think they can handle it, because they are the strongest person they know. Sadly, it comes to a point on most days when someone says screw it and leave. Story 25. If someone gave me a couple $1 million to run an experiment, I would try to confirm the neurological truth of this observation. There are two primary reactions to opioids which appear to be genetic or neurological and not psychosocial. Some people have euphoria and a sedated experience, as is typical of opioids, while others report feeling energized and motivated. Anecdotally, people who have the energizing experience seem to become dependent much faster than those who have the more typical reaction. Story 26. People love patterns and will often make them without meaning to. Edek, if this is all that unknown, but I didn't know until I was in my degree. A good example is this. Say it's hailing badly and person hears that insurance companies are paying out for hail damage. A person decides it should be relatively easy to convince their insurance company to pay for hail damage. Person takes a golf ball in a sock and smacks it on their car to create the hail and submits a claim. The claim is rejected. Why? Because every hail dent was 6 inches apart from the previous, as told to me by a friend who works in insurance. Story 27. Humans are terrified that the world is random and chaotic. We desperately want to believe that we get what we deserve, when in fact we rarely do. Bad things often happen to us that we absolutely do not deserve. We often get away with doing a bad thing without consequence.
That's
Good
life.
things happen to us that we do not deserve, and we are rarely rewarded for doing a good thing. So I've found a great deal of people need assistance in breaking themselves of this concept of a just world. Just because something bad happened to you does not mean that you deserved it or that you are a lesser person. Just because you did a good thing and were not recognized or rewarded does not mean your good thing was not valuable. Learning to stop seeking outside validation for your self-worth is the hardest but most essential transition to make. Story 28. We all have very similar desires, needs, and insecurities. If you are scared to tell me something, 1. I suspected it 3 sessions ago and have been trying to make you feel more comfortable telling me for weeks now. 2. You and a bunch of other people this week said the same thing. That which is most unique is most universal. Carl Rogers. Story 29. The most effective treatment for major depression is what is referred to as behavioral activation. This is a fancy way of saying just doing things, participating in behaviors that help manage depression effectively by tricking the brain into having more positive, hopeful thoughts. It's a core concept in cognitive behavioral therapy, which is the most studied and supported treatment for major depression.
So basically,
examples of behavioral activation are 30-minute walks per day, showering every day, calling friends, etc. It just so happens that a symptom of depression is that it makes it feel almost impossible to do those things regularly. Also, this is a bit of a one-off observation. Most people would rather be predictably miserable than unpredictably happy. I believe this is a large part of what makes depression so attractive to the subconscious. It's predictable. I learned long ago that when I least feel like doing a thing, I absolutely must do that thing. It's become a habit now, a trigger that I recognize. I get depressed and don't feel like playing video games or taking a bike ride or going to the movies or calling a friend to chat, etc. As soon as I recognize it now, I sigh, recognize my feelings, and then go through the motions and force myself to do the thing. And let me be clear, doing a thing doesn't make me magically instantly happy or erase my feelings, but it always prevents me from sinking into them further, spiraling deeper, prolonging my misery beyond its due course. I keep doing the things, and eventually I find I have gradually worked through whatever it was that got me down. Essentially, depression can make you avoid the very activities that would cure your depression. Don't let it. It's a difficult habit to learn, but well worth the effort. Story 30. Behavior sequences, also known as behavior chains, can form unintentionally to some degree, as long as they serve some form of reinforcement to the individual over time. Think of a behavior chain as the steps needed to wash your hands. You turn on the faucet, you get your hands wet, you pump the soap, you scrub for 20 seconds, rinse the soap off, turn off the faucet, and dry your hands. That is a complete behavior chain. However, let's say, for example, that you rinse your face off with cool water before the step of turning off the faucet. The sensory input from rinsing your face with cool water may be automatically reinforcing to you. To add to that immediate automatic reinforcement, perhaps rinsing your face off is something that your parents would verbally praise you for when you were a child, and maybe they clapped their hands in the excitement that younger you washed their face while in the bathroom. Over time, these constant reinforcers, e.g. automatic sensory input and praise from the parents, can cause that step of rinsing one's face off with cool water to be included in the overall behavior chain of washing one's hands. Now, when you go to wash your hands, you automatically rinse your face off with cool water. You may notice this and go, wait, why did I just do that? My face isn't sweaty or dirty, and I was just washing my hands in the first place. This is a very fun thing to learn in regard to all human behavior and how it is reinforced and maintained over time. Story 31. I'm guessing you mean emotional or behavioral, but as a massage therapist, it's very interesting to me the spectrum of responses to therapeutic physical touch. You can give 100 people the exact same 60-minute massage and have totally different involuntary reactions. Falling asleep, crying, emotional release, laughter, and anxiety. Sometimes people have gone so long without being touched by another person, literal years, that they don't know how to receive it at all. Humans are fascinating. Story 32. Not a therapist, but I've been attending therapy for many years. The brain is a pattern recognition engine. It will seek out things that feel familiar even if they are painful. Sensations and perceptions that don't fit the pattern recognition engine get tossed out unless we actively choose to engage our higher level thought processes to comprehend and understand them. Making a choice to understand our emotions instead of identifying with them is known as mindfulness.
Oh, that's the end of the video right there. That was a cool video right there. That's a lot of stuff that I learned. Talked about a lot of depression. I'm the type of person, I go by patterns too. Because that's what life is really about. It's a bunch of patterns. Like once you peep the patterns, you could go with the pattern, you can go with the flow with the pattern, or switch it up. But even with friends, family, relationships is always patterns, and sometimes patterns repeat itself. It could be good patterns, bad patterns. Once you peep the bad patterns, you can always let them know, like, hey, I don't like this pattern that you're doing. You gotta switch that shit up. That ain't it. But anyways, we made it to the end of the video. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching. Like the video. Please get this video up to at least 50 likes. We almost at 100 subscribers. So if you're new, subscribe if you're new, and comment what you think about the video, and comment whatever you want me to react to next, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.